We also offer contract maintenance services. A prime example here is with PTKA. We have an excellent business model that we would like to take within the Southeast Asian region as well. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Brian.
Yes, hello there. I am from the Caterpillar side of the house, and I want to talk just for a minute about engines. Most people know Caterpillar is making large, yellow, earth-moving equipment, but we do engines. We have a variety, we have some very large engines, we have some smaller engines, we do, I'll get with that in just a minute, but we have a very big presence in the rail industry for engines. I'll talk for just a moment though about Caterpillar engines. Caterpillar is actually the world's largest high horsepower heavy duty engine maker because we use so many of the engines in our own products. Some people don't know that, but we make about 600,000 engines per year. I throw this here, really nobody knows engines better than Caterpillar. We make engines from very small 4 kilowatt type of engines all the way up to large 22,000 watt turbine. Most of those are used in electrical power. Just the engine part of our business is about $20 billion a year. So between the size in sales and then the broad range of engines, we have a whole company here that just makes natural gas engines. You're probably familiar with the EMD engines, being we're in the rail industry. We have a whole other company that just makes engines, very large ones for ships. This is what most people know as Caterpillar engines. But I want you to see this point right here though. We spend about $1 billion a year in R&D on engines. If we don't make our engines the best possible and the most fuel efficient and the most integrated, then we're not going to sell as many earth-moving machines as we do. And so we keep up this very high level of R&D so that we can stay on top of the engine game. So really, broadest range on the planet. There's nobody else that has a broader range of engines than we do. Briefly though, our line of engines, I mentioned, small 100 kilowatt, on the CAT side, maybe 3,500 kilowatt, and that covers almost everything in the rail industry, below the very large EMD size locomotives. We have about 8,000 engines running in the rail industry today though. So a good market share there. Locomotive, maintenance away, of course head end power. You can see there though a number of household names for customers. Our main hitch on our engines though, our main differentiators is the longer life. The engines are very, very durable, last a long time. Better reliability. And here, this one though, we lower the life cycle cost. If you look at the whole life cycle of the engine, from the purchase price, servicing, oil changes, length of life, how much it costs to rebuild, all that's where Caterpillar really shines. And of course here, the best in the world product support. What we always say, wherever that engine goes, wherever that locomotive, if you're a locomotive builder, wherever it goes, there's already a Caterpillar dealer there, and they already have the parts in-house and they already have the expertise. Because our dealer network is so dependent on engines, everything we do has CAT engines in it, so every dealer in the world knows how to work on a CAT engine. So that's, again, something that we bring to the industry that others can't. I want to talk for just a minute, though, about this particular combination where we take engines and transmissions together and we'll put them into smaller type of shunters, maintenance of way equipment, things like that. Small things, little larger things. This is right down the road at PT Inca. Maintenance of way equipment. But this here though, the same thing goes where when you can integrate things, when you have when the engine, we clearly, Caterpillar knows engines better than anybody else, we make more. We also have a broader line of transmissions than anybody else. And so this really is taking the cost out of shunting or switching and then maintenance of way, you know, all over the world. This product, when you put them together, has become very popular around the world. And I just want to talk to you guys just a little bit more about this, some of its advantages, just very high level here. We'll take these packages from like 100 kilowatt, maybe up to about 1200 kilowatt for 1500. So mostly that's going to cover shunting, maintenance of way, that kind of thing. But here's a couple of statistics. It's way lower cost than diesel hydraulic. And diesel hydraulic is kind of a outgoing technology, I understand. But it's 12 to 15% more efficient than diesel hydraulic. But look at this though. This is a number I expect to get some arguments on, but when I've reviewed it with the industry, everybody's seeming to agree with me that these packages here, because of their efficiency, they're about 5 to 10% more efficient than diesel electric. And yet most of the shunters in the world are diesel electric. So I wanted to kind of challenge. In fact, I've been kind of talking to industry people around the world the last couple of years about this. And most people are agreeing here, 5 to 10% more efficient, but this is what the locomotive builders around the world are telling me. It's about 25% lower cost to make a diesel mechanical shunter than it is a diesel electric. You think about all the things you don't need in a diesel electric if you go mechanical. That's how you get that kind of a cost break. So my challenge to the industry is to start thinking, I think we're missing maybe this option of diesel mechanical. Anybody wants to talk about this, please, I love to talk about this subject. You might be able to tell.
Thanks very much, Brian. Cheers. So it seemed opportune that we were able to present to you some of the advanced technologies that Progress Rail has developed over recent months and years. So I'm just going to touch on 5 or 6 of these. We're probably going to skip through a couple of slides as we go, but I hope you certainly take benefit from this. The first product that we are developing, we've heard about big data, we've heard about data analytics. They're buzzwords in the industry at the moment. This is the solution that we have developed. Progress Rail has partnered with a company called Uptake. Uptake is a Forbes Startup Company of the Year in 2015. They are a data analytics company, and combined with our knowledge of our locomotives and their ability to analyze data, we have a fantastic strength to be able to offer to the market. In essence, what it is, it's a product, it's a tool that uses collaborative disruption with the industry to be able to predict failures on the locomotives. And indeed, more broader than the locomotives, we're going to go and we're going to look at the rail ecosystem in its entirety, to wagons, to the rail shops, etc. So that basically takes maintenance from a time-based phenomenon to one of a condition-based situation. And the ultimate objective for you as our much valued customers is to reduce costs and increase productivity in your railroads. Please pop outside and we can talk about this in more detail. We have some fantastic material available. But that's all we have right now for the timing. So I'll skip forwards onto our next product. And what you see here is a fatigue monitoring system. On the left, the gentleman, the driver, is falling asleep. On the right, the guy is distracted by something that's happening out of the window of the locomotive. Obviously, 2 events that are not something that we want to see. So we have developed, in collaboration with another company, this fatigue management system, which basically through an infrared sensor on the dashboard is able to map the face of the individual. In particular, you'll see here that it looks at the eyes, it also looks at the mouth, and it also looks at the tilt of the head of the individual. And once that person is looking like he's falling asleep, or he's distracted looking out of the window, then an audible alarm will happen within the locomotive, which will bring his attention to attention, or his seat. We can vibrate the seat to again bring him to attention. And if this happens a number of times, then there is a back-to-base technology to be able to have your rail management center take this up with that particular individual if he has a fatigue problem or for whatever reason. So it's very much with your driver safety in mind. We also have a 3-in-1 event recorder product that we call PowerView, and that is an event recorder with high definition cameras, and it is also crash hardened memory as well. So skipping through. Design technology, this is how we develop locomotives nowadays. We use 3D virtual reality design techniques, and what we do is we invite our customers, like all you guys, to please come over to our facility, get involved in the design of our locomotive at the same time, so that by all means bring your maintenance team. At the same time, we will involve our production team to look at the most cost-effective method of manufacturing that locomotive, and at the end of the day, everybody will be happy with the end result, and there's no after-sales experiences of having to undertake modifications.
We also have an ultrasonic impact technology, which I'll skip through for now, but in essence what it does is for welding, it increases the grain refinement of a weld, and increases the productivity of that weld. We also have a product called our MIRA product, the multiple inspection radar application for safety on rail crossings. Basically it detects if there is an object like a car caught in the gates, and it's able to relay back to the train with the objective of offsetting the possibility of an accident. It wouldn't go amiss without touching on the energy management systems and emission systems that we're able to offer. The energy management system, basically what you see here is products like Smart Consist Monitor, New York Airbrake's Leader product, which enables you to undertake auto control and eventually take full control of the locomotive. And the idea behind that is ultimately that gives you, as the rail operators and owners, full control of your railroad. Emission standards. Over the last 15 years, the US government has put in place a series of emission standards from Tier 0 up to the most stringent of Tier 4. With our EMD 710 engine, we are still able to maintain right up to Tier 3 today, unlike some of our competitors, and we're able to offer emissions kits to upgrade your locomotive engines with the power packs, the oil separators, and the injectors, as you see there. So there's some of the products that we would supply to get up from Tier 0 to Tier 3. You may be asking about Tier 4. Well, get this. We're also able to comply with Tier 4 with an EMD 710 two-stroke engine. We've developed it for the marine engine, or marine industry, I should say, and what you see down there is a product that we're developing for the locomotives. So with that, Brian, maybe you'd like to talk about the Caterpillar Tier 4 product offerings.
Yeah, on the Caterpillar side, because we have so many engines in so many applications around the world, it's critical for us to meet all those different standards everywhere. So on the locomotive side, we can do a Tier 1, a Tier 2, or like European Stage 1, Stage 2. In Europe right now, Stage 3B is their highest. We have products for that. In the US, Stage 4, Tier 4, Tier 4 interim, and then Tier 4 final. We can meet both of those as well. So again, because of the large engine prowess of Caterpillar, we can meet virtually any tier emission that you guys are shooting for, in your locomotives. So here's just a couple, Tier 4 we're working on. Another prototype. Don't want to go into these, just kind of showing pictures to let you know that we're working on all these and that, putting them into locomotives, etc.
So heading off into our final section of our presentation, conscious of time that we've run 17 minutes, we've been asked to give a presentation on LNG, liquefied natural gas, and you may be asking why. Well, certainly in the United States, the availability of natural gas has basically enabled the price, or pushed the price down to a very competitive level with diesel. And so that's forced us as vehicle manufacturers to provide or to invent products to be able to take to market. LNG, or natural gas, is not something new to the market, but to be able to maintain the power and the transient response, we basically have two new offerings. One is the dynamic gas blending offering, which basically substitutes 70% of the diesel with LNG. And that is available today and would be available to retrofit onto your 710 engines. The advantage with the dynamic gas blending offering is that you get some of the advantages of LNG, but at the same time you're able to take the retrofit kit off and transfer it back into diesel locomotives at a later date, which I'm sure many of you may find that attractive. But going forwards, we also have a direct injected gas product, and that's very much in the development stages at the moment. We will replace 95% of the diesel used in the engine with LNG and get the cost benefits associated with that. We will be able to take that to market very shortly, and please watch this space. And if LNG is of great interest to you, please do come and talk to us. Brian.
Yeah, on the Caterpillar side of the house, again, it's really nothing new for natural gas. We have a whole line of engines that are pure natural gas, and right now there's not a lot of interest in our industry for pure natural gas. When there is, we've already been there, we've already done that, so we're ready for pure natural gas. In fact, we go back 20 years. 20 years ago, we had one operating in a locomotive. This was in the U.S. So, you know, we've just got a long history of this. We've participated in tests kind of all over the world. This is with Deutsche Bahn in Germany. And here's, just to spend a moment on this one, dynamic gas blending. We were talking about the mixture between some diesel, some gas, seems to be where the most interest is in our industry. And we are ready for that. We've got about 2,000 of these running in the field. These are mostly in oil and gas service. We can put it in a locomotive as soon as the industry gives some demand for this. We've already been there, we've already done that, we're ready. So if you guys are starting to get interested in using natural gas, please come talk to us. We've been there, done that, we've had a lot of experience, and we'd love to talk with you guys about that. Questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Flynn and Livingston. Mr. Livingston. Question from the audience? Any questions?
Well, we do have a booth just outside the main door here, so perhaps anybody with questions would like to come and ask that of us.
Yeah, we would love to meet you and then talk further. Love to meet you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Second presenter from State Railway of Thailand, Mr. Witunyo Nakwong. Please welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Witunyo Nakwong, civil engineer from State Railway of Thailand. Today I am going to present topic progress of Singapore Kunming Rail Link project in Thailand. In Thailand have 4 routes for Singapore Kunming Rail Link project. Route 1, the Eastern Line from Bangkok to Khong Luk, the border of Thailand and Cambodia. Route 2, the Western Line, Bangkok to Ban Phut Nam Ron, border of Thailand and Myanmar. Route 3, Northeastern Line, Bangkok to Nong Khai, ถนนจีระจังชัน to อุบลราชธานี บ้านไผ่ to นครพนม border of Thailand and Laos, and common route, the Southern Main Line, Bangkok to Padang Besar, border of Thailand and Malaysia. 2 main objectives of the implementation of SKRL project are to improve existing line by strengthening and deepening the single track section, to construction new line to fill the gap of missing section to link with neighboring country. Okay. status, Route 1, the Eastern Main Line, tech rehabilitation and reconstruction. The work is comprised portion. Rehabilitation, คลอง 19 junction to อรัญญประเทศ station. Current status is complete. Reconstruction, อรัญญประเทศ station to คลองลึก border still bid. Current station complete. คลองลึก border still bid. Reconstruction คลองลึก border still bid. Current is complete. Route to the Western Line, border Thailand and Myanmar. The Y port to Lam Chabang port. Current status feasibility study complete in April 2015. Detailed design and EAA in Thailand we carry out in 2017. Route T, the northeastern main line, double track construction have flight project. T.1, มาบกระเบา station to ถนนจีระ junction. Current status feasibility detailed design and EAA were complete. Is under the process of project approval by the cabinet. T.2, ถนนจีระ junction to ขอนแก่น station. Current status is under construction and will be complete. Is under construction period and will be completed in February 2019. T.3, ขอนแก่น station to หนองคาย station. หนองคาย station is a border of Thailand and Laos. Current status FS and DD were completed. Is under process of EA report consideration. T.4, ถนนจีระ junction to อุบลราชธานี station. This border of Thailand and Laos, southern Laos. Current status FS and DD were complete. Is under the process of EAA report consideration. New line construction. T.5 บ้านไผ่นครพนม. Current status FS and DD were complete in August 2014. Is under the process of EA report consideration. Route 4, all common route line, the southern main line, from Bangkok to Padang Besar. 4.1, Bang Sue Junction to Nakhon Pathom Station. Current status is completed in 2003. Nakhon Pathom Station to Hua Hin Station. Current status FSDD and EA were complete under the process of project approval by the cabinet. หัวหิน to ประจวบคีรีขันธ์ Station. Current status FSDD were completed but under process of EA report consideration. ประจวบคีรีขันธ์ to ชุมพร Station. This section is approval by the cabinet. Now is under process of tendering. ชุมพร to สุราษฎร์ธานี Station. FF feasibility study and DD completed. Is under process of EA report consideration by concerned agency. สุราษฎร์ธานี to หาดใหญ่ Junction. Current status FS and DD were completed under the process of EA report consideration. And last, หาดใหญ่ Junction to Padang Besar Station. Current status FS and DD completed under process of EA report consideration. Summary for 1 year past, from mid of 2015, to mid of 2016. There are some progress observable development projects for the SKIL in Thailand as follow. Route 1 or the Eastern Line improvement and construction work were complete. Route 2 or the Western Line under process of consultant selection for detailed design work for the new line construction. Route 3 or the Northeastern Line for the double track construction. Parallel to the existing single track, which are 4 parts. One is under construction, one is under tendering, and 2 are under approval for a new line construction. Is under approval. Route number 4, common line, or the southern line, which is divided into 7 sections from Bang Sue Junction to Padang Besa section. State railway expect in 2020, the northeastern and the southern main line of railway network in Thailand will completely develop to double track. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question from audience?
Thank you very much for your presentation concerning the SKIL line project in Thailand. It is confusing for me. Can you show me the main line of the SKIL from Singapore to Kunming, please? And then so the section that you finished and the progress of the work in Thailand.
From
Singapore,
Singapore.
SKIL, yeah, I mean SKIL line.
To
which number?
The main line of the SKIL from Singapore to Kunming.
In state level expect to now we can connect from Padang Besa, border of Thailand and Malaysia, to Nong Khai, the border Thailand and Laos. And in Laos country, Laos government must build construction railway to China. In Thailand is complete, can connect.
It is very difficult to understand. As I know, the Singapore railway link from Singapore through Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and China. When you saw this line, it is very difficult to understand which section that you finished the SKIL. I mean the progress of the work. Sometimes you saw the progress of the railway line from your country to Laos, but for us, I understand that the line through only Cambodia, Vietnam, and China. Yeah.
I have senior for us.
Can we have a Thai delegate to respond to this question?
I think that the first option which might be now the first alternative route or the most pocket route, it should be Bangkok, Nong Khai, and to Vientiane and to Chiang Rum. And that first, that is the cooperation of China, Laos, and Thailand. Yeah, and then that is should be the double track in standard gauge. But now, only for domestic route, we are implement for the double track in meter gauge with diesel locomotive. But for the three nation project, China, Laos, and Thai, it will be standard gauge double track with electrify. So the first, maybe first priority from Singapore to Kunming, maybe reality it should be a standard jet electrified from Kunming to Bangkok first. And another option or alternative, it might be from Bangkok via Khong Luk to Cambodia, or maybe from Bangkok to Mukdahan or Phnom, and then cross the Mekong River to link with Lao PTR. Oh man, so many options, so many options. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions from the audience? Last.
I'm Chana from Indonesian Railways. I want to ask about your improvement, your building about the construction of line between city and to city. Why do you have a planning for commuter line or a city line track? Yeah, because your city on the city, do you have a planning for example for Bangkok city train, city railways, transport and so on in city area, metropolitan area about that?
Actually, in Bangkok area or in Bangkok suburban, we have another project that we call commuter train, the red line project in the Bangkok area. That it will be the double track, meter gauge and electrify. We separate another project. This is a long distance project for serve long distance passenger. But in Bangkok area, we have another project that we call the red line project. We are under construction. Meter gauge, double track, electrify. 5 years ago, we acquired loan from Japan around 80,000 million baht to construct the red line project. That is a commuter project for Bangkok area. That is the first phase from north of Bangkok, Rangsit Station, around 40 kilometers north from Bangkok, up down to the center of Bangkok. That we call the red line project. Most of the road are elevated, double track, meter gauge, and electrified, under construction. Separate. This is only meter gauge by diesel locomotive, not electrified. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the third presenter from Vietnam, Mr. Mai Thi Tung Huong, please welcome.
Here, please.
Sorry, this is Miss Mai Thi Tung Huong. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mai Thi Tung Huong from Railway Project Investment Preparation Department, headquarters Vietnam Railway. Today I am here to share some experience about the reconstruction of Dong Nai Bridge. Follow the urgent urgent construction. Follow the order of Prime Minister. This is content we have for. About the railway line, in Vietnam Railway, we manage 7 lines with total length is about more than 3,000 kilometers. With main line is more than 2,000 kilometers, and branch line is more than 400 kilometers. And the reason of urgent reconstruction, because Dong Nai Bridge is one of the bridges in it's one of the bridges on the Hanoi Ho Chi Minh City railway line with total length of 2024.21 for cover thin short span with a rate length of 55.3 meter, built in 1904, linking Saigon and Biên Hòa Station, and this is the longest line in Vietnam Railway. And on 20 March 2015, one bus crashed into the pier number 2 of Dong Lai Bridge and causing 2 steel girders fell into the river, and the traffic rail traffic on Biên Hòa Di An section was interrupted. And to continue transportation passenger and freight, we having to transit freight and passenger between two stations by car. With passenger, we have to transit from Biên Hòa station to Saigon station by car. Is about 28 kilometers. About if we change by about, sorry, here's something wrong here, about 40 minutes by car, and with freight we have to change 2 stations on there, here and here. About it is the Biên Hòa, and it is Trảng Bom station and Hồ Nai station to Song Thân station. Song Thân station is the biggest station, is terminal of freight, and with because of this accident, productivity is reduced to 2-3. Revenue is only reduced 65% compared to the same period of 2015, and losing revenue about 10 billion Vietnam dong per day is about equivalent to 450,000 US dollar. In this situation, we have some solution is with the consequence made by the collapsing of Dong Lai Bridge to Vietnam Railways. Prime Minister ordered urgent reconstruction Dong Lai Bridge within 120 days, and in addition, we have to focus on upgrading and expanding 3 stations, as I said last slide, as namely is Trang. Sorry. Namely is Trảng Bom, Hồ Nai and Biên Hòa station to represent for 2 terminal located in Ho Chi Minh City. And we have some advantage here. The Prime Minister agreed to allocate the funding of Vietnam dong about 298.5 billion Vietnam dong, equivalent to US dollar is more than 30 million for Vietnam Railway to reconstruction bridge, and being assigned with respective mechanism, direct contact without bidding. And the Ministry of Transport support unexpected and assign experienced contract having the most modern equipment to the distance, the damaged pier and girder. And the local authority give full support inland clearance control of roadway and waterway transport within the construction site. It is very advantageous to reconstruction. And the other hand, we have some disadvantage. That is having to listen to the damaged pile and heater within 7 days, about more than 1,000 tons, and reorganization of waterway transport in construction site. The rainy season is coming with high water level and complicated riverbed. Total construction duration is shortened to 105 days. And tide of the river flow down and backward twice a day with different from 1 to 2 meters per time. And production and installation of steam girder for testing in the factory with high accuracy at the same time in 60 days. It is most advantage in steam girder technology which local constructors have never done before in Vietnam. Before we have some project, but most of the steam girder was produced by foreigner contractor, and this is some picture about the damaged spy and heater fell down the river. After 7 days, we have decided to select the design solution like this. Construction of railway bridge with the design load for pipe and for girder. Total length of the bridge 275 meters with 3 girder with span 3.75 meters, having sidewalk for the motor vehicle. All-shape reinforced concrete abutment pipe foundation with diameter of 1.5 meter. Pipe with full reinforced concrete. And expansion and upgrading to roadbed of 2.2 meters on the each side of the right to height of the bridge to 6.5 meters for better movement of the ship and boat under the bridge. And this is make it easy to moving on the under the bridge. And construction solution is determining the damaged pipe and heater and constructing the separate item at the same time. It helps Vietnam Railway reduce the time to reach construction designing in parallel with constructing, producing steam girders simultaneously in 3 different factories at the same time. Establish a project committee and the project team at Vietnam Railway headquarters to check the detailed design and select the most appropriate one. It have to most of people have to concentrate on the detailed design. It makes the detailed design maybe is come to finish early. And establish a constructor consortium having experience in construction of railway bridge, working 18 hours per day without day off. It is most important in in the period of time reconstruction the bridge is very important. And this is a picture on the at the construction site. I have a short clip about the construction site. Please enjoy the short clip. And the works are complete after 85 days of non-stop construction, 20 days earlier than the set schedule. Yeah. And increasing the speed of the train over the bridge to 75 km per hour, 25 km per hour higher than the speed over the old bridge, and making transport of the freight and passenger more convenient thanks to upgrading and expansion of the station. That's the reason. And the Thailand train after, yes, oh, sorry. Yes, a Thailand train operation at midnight right after the last train is connected, immediately after the last train connected, yes. And this is a picture about the old bridge and new bridge. It is a similar shape of the old bridge and the new bridge because, as you know, Dong Nai Bridge was built in 1904. It's about more than 100 years old. So it is a heritage in Dong Nai. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. National is having yearly master plan to repair and upgrade our bridge, ensuring the unified, centralized leadership when emergency situation happen, using the special mechanism to select construction contractor and giving reward to the construction item which are ahead of the set schedule with high quality and safety, being flexible in train operation control during the construction periods. And thank you. Thank you for attending.
Okay, thank you. Any question from the audience?
Nothing.
No question?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our last presenter from State Railway of Thailand once again, Mr. Tongsiap Sawasdikul. Please welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Thongthep Swadikul from the State Railway of Thailand. Today I will present you about developing more choice model for containerized freight transportation, a case study of Lat Krabang Inland Container Depot and Lam Chabang Port. The content will consist of 3 parts: introduction, problem, and methodology. Yeah. Next. The Inland Container Depot (ICD) at Lat Krabang, Bangkok, Thailand, owned by State Railway of Thailand, is an intermodal service station for freight train and truck transportation. On freight activity related to containerized cargo. Next. All freight activity related to the containerized cargo, including import and export service, that is assessment, plant, drug, food, and animal checking, have been operated in this one-stop service center. Note that the activities are operated by the concessionaire, which are the private company or organization. The containerized cargo transport by freight train increased from 42.8% to 53.7% during 2006 to 2007. However, the number during 2010 to 2014 indicates the significant decrease to about 30%, reflecting the reduction of revenue for the concessionaire and SRT. Additionally, the number of truck transportation service is increased as it provides more flexible door-to-door service and the advantage in terms of time, reliability, availability. As a result, the anticipatory trend of the number is decreasing over year, and it triggered the need for the remedial plan. The factor that could influence the decision for shipper and concessionaire should be evaluated and realized. The objective of this study are to develop a predictive model defined by the characteristic linear operator of cargo transportation service attribute represent in the state preference model perspective. The next section describes the methodology of the study, and the conclusion is also drawn in the section 3 respectively. Next. This is the methodology of this research. 1. Define the target area. 2. Defining target group and sample size. 3. Pilot survey. 4. State preference survey. 5. Calibrating the utility function, and conclusion. Next. Defining the target area. In this research, we study the transportation route connecting between Lat Krabang Inland Container Depot and Lam Chabang Port two modes of transportation, including truck and train, are studied. Next. Define target group and sample size. The target group in this study are 1. 6 ICD concessionaires located between Lat Krabang Inland Container Depot and Lam Shubang Port. And 2. The shipping company who are the intermodal freight forwarder. The target entrepreneurs were interviewed by the state preference questionnaire. The number of samples is shown in the table. Developing a questionnaire. In this study, there are 2 questionnaire surveys. 1, a pilot survey, and 2, a state preference survey. The target entrepreneurs were interviewed with the questionnaire in person at the site and also by mail. Next, pilot survey. To identify the factor that influence on the decision making in selecting freight transportation mode, which the score of factors that represent the importance of operating factors. It was found that the top 5 factors ranked by importance for ICD entrepreneur are 1. Cost, transit time, safety, handling time, and on-time liability. For the shipping entrepreneur, the top 5 factors are cost, transit time, safety, on-time liability, and handling time. Since the safety is known as the qualitative factor, which is difficult to measure, therefore, we decide to eliminate this factor from the set. Next. State preference survey. The questionnaire of state preference was divided into 2 parts. The first part consists of the general question related to the characteristic of the sample. There are, for example, gender, age, income level, role, or responsibility in transportation mode choice decision, and his or her satisfactory in using train or containerized transportation. In the second part, the entrepreneurs were interviewed about the decision making in choosing transport mode between truck and train. The experiment was designed by the constructing the scenario of choosing mode based on service attributes of cost, transit time, handling time, and liability. Henschel suggests that the level of the variable should cover the peak or the minimum level. Therefore, the variable levels are divided into 3 levels as shown in the table. Next. Based on the variables in the last table, the state preference were developed to 9 states as shown in this table. Then the completed questionnaire, 25 samples from the total of 34 samples, were used for construct the binary logic choice models. Next. For the calibrating utility function, the utility functions were constructed based on the influence factor or attribute variable. The utility function of train transport for ICD and their entrepreneur expressed as equation 1 and equation 2 respectively, where utility function of ICD and utility function of the liner are utility function of train transport for ICD and linear entrepreneur respectively. And beta are parameters of the variables. The parameters beta were estimated by using logistic regression analysis in the SPSS software. The variable that have the wall statistic greater than 1 and the significant level more than 95% will be considered as the significant for decision making in transport mode. Next. The table shows the estimated parameter for the ICD entrepreneur. It indicates that cost, handling time, and liability are the factors influencing on choosing train mode. For the liner entrepreneur, the estimated parameters are shown in the table 2. It shows that cost, transit time, and liability are the factors influencing on choosing train mode. Next. For the conclusion, the objectives of this research are to develop a predictive model defined by the characteristic linear operator of cargo transportation service attribute represent in the state preference model perspective. The state preference interview technique was adopted for this study. The study reveals the importance of operating service factor include cost, handling time, transit time, and service liability. Cost and reliability are two major concerns of both ICD and liner, which is already expected. Interestingly, the handling time is a significant factor for only ICD entrepreneur, but not by the liner. It reflects that the operating service attributes are highly considered in the view of ICD entrepreneur. The efficient handling by the SRT could increase the number of throughput. Hence, the attractiveness of the train transportation. Finally, its results could be further applied to improve the attractiveness of freight train choice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any question from the audience?
It's interesting topic. As you know that truck is door to door, but train has to have connectivity. I mean, have to move using maybe truck again. Okay. Based on your study, how many percent that happy to that willing to move to train with your choices that you give? Because I saw that the price seem that still. I mean, the price seem that lower for train, but the time is for truck is lower than train. Yeah. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So how many percent that people from the truck user willing to move to the train? Okay, based on your study, and then what you offer, because you know that normally the times is not only for traveling, but also for documentation, making the document. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you, if you cannot answer, please get your assistant from your colleagues. Can any Thai delegates answer the question? Please assist your colleagues here.
จะมีคำถามแรกนะครับก็ถามว่าจากการศึกษาเนี่ยมันจะมีส่วนของการขนส่ง จากทางถนนนะครับที่เปลี่ยนไปใช้ระบบรางเนี่ยเขาถามว่ากี่เปอร์เซ็นต์ส่วนของการขนส่งทางทรัคเนี่ยหรือว่ารถบรรทุกเนี่ยที่จะเปลี่ยนไปใช้ด้านระบบรางไม่ทราบว่ามีข้อมูลหรือว่าตัวเลขอะไรที่จะตอบเขาได้ไหมครับ
Yeah, this is just for study for the next ICD of the second ICD of SRT. We will use this model to modify in the next town.
ข้อ2ก็พูดถึงเรื่องเวลานะฮะเรื่องเวลาในการทำด้านเอกสารเนี่ยซึ่งทางการขนส่งทางถนนเนี่ยมันต้องใช้ตรงนี้ด้วยอันนี้ไม่ทราบว่าได้นำไปคิดหรือว่าวิเคราะห์ในการศึกษา
This study not include for the document time for both truck and train. Not calculate in this model for the documentation.
Is that answer your question?
Okay, any more question?
In your study, your units of measurement, are they TEU? So when you measure a truck, is it 1 TEU every 1.5 hours? Is that the basis of it? Or whereas your train travels from A to B and it has 200 containers on in 3.5 hours? Is that, I don't understand your basis of your model. When a model of a train is based on the tonnage carried per hour versus the tonnage carried per truck. So I don't understand the model. Can you explain why you don't have a standard to measure against? Normally, when you do an intermodal study, it is based on a TEU. How many TEUs per hour you deliver to the port? And in that study there, it shows me 1.5 hours. I don't know how many TEU. You say 3.5 hours for one train. I don't know how many TEUs you are carrying and delivering. So, can you explain to me what is the standard that you base that calculation on?
Okay, can you answer the question? What's your basis of the study calculation?
Hello. ประเด็นเรื่องโมเดลที่ใช้ในการวิเคราะห์นะครับเขาบอกว่าปกติเนี่ยจะใช้หน่วยในการขนส่งเนี่ยเป็นหน่วย TEU 20 ตัน equivalent unit เนี่ยทีนี้ในโมเดลที่เราวิเคราะห์เนี่ยไม่แน่ใจว่าได้ใช้หน่วยเนี่ยตามนี้หรือเปล่าหรือว่าใช้มีหลักการวิเคราะห์ยังไงที่ใช้หน่วยที่เราใช้ในการศึกษาครับ
For the number of the TEU container that we transport by the train, we will fix the number of the containers. There's about 60 containers we transport each time. For the truck, one container. Yes. But for this study, we don't compare for the number of container. Just compare in the cost harm and liability of the service.
Hello. One.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Satisfied? Okay. Question?
Yes. One last question. First of all, thank you very much for sharing with us your research. I think it's very, very insightful. I'm just wondering and would like to understand about the algorithms that you put in, putting the points on efficiency as well as the reliability portion in your formula, and if these were previous experiences from previous existing operations which is now being translated to future operations of ICD, as you said. That's the first question. And the second question is, in terms of receptibility of migrating from trucks to trains of the shippers and the liners, how was it in your experience? Thank you.
Interesting. Getting interesting now.
Excuse me, sir, can you repeat the first question again, please?
Sorry, I guess I spoke too fast. Before this slide, you had some numbers on efficiency. Yeah, this one. Comparing the cost of moving containers on trains as well as trucks. So you see, I can sense that train cost is cheaper than truck cost. However, reliability on trucks are higher than trains. See, if you see the last column, that's why, and handling time for trucks is shorter than the handling time for cargoes getting into trains. So my question is, how much conversion, taking off from the question of the lady on my right, did you experience in operating the trains vis-a-vis the trucks today? And if the conversion is high from truck to train, is this an experience from previous operations as well? And what was that defining factor for shippers as well as liners to prefer train over trucks? Was that clear enough? I hope.
Okay, please, one more.
Okay.
ก็คำถามก็ต่อเนื่องจากทางสุภาพสตรีเมื่อสักครู่นี้ฮะเขาถามเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการเปลี่ยนแปลงจากโหมดจากทรัคจากรถบรรทุกไปยังระบบรางนะครับว่าไอ้ conversion ตรงนี้เนี่ยมันเป็นเท่าไหร่แต่นี้ผมเข้าใจว่าการศึกษาของเราเนี่ยอาจจะไม่ได้ลงลึกในถึงขั้นนั้นก็อาจจะอธิบายเป็นแค่หลักการคร่าวๆของการศึกษาว่าเราใช้หลักอะไรนะฮะน่าจะแค่นี้นะ
Okay.
Can you answer?
Okay, so I think to respond to your question, we have the staff from the freight department, and we will discuss with you and give you more explanation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finish.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for today's presentation. Thank you for being with us. Okay.
Last but not least, I would like to say thank you for your attention, and please apologize to be accepted. And we hope this presentation and this meeting will be useful for all of us. Let me applause for all. Thank you.